Hello. Oh my gosh, it's working. Hello. My name is Charlie Wall. Um, I am a coach and retreat creatrix. I own Wild Awakening Retreats and my business, other business, Charlie Wall. So I'm trying out a new live stream for my Facebook page. So I'm really hoping this is going to work because I can't go live on Zoom anymore. So I haven't done one of these for a while. This is my Friday question of the week, but it will just be a question of the week. It will be whenever I can do it. And I got a wonderful question from a lovely lady called Lucy, and I thought it would be really lovely to speak on this topic because it's about friendships. And the question was, there's a sort of two parts to this question. Why do some friends drain your energy while others don't? And the second part is that this particular lady, Lucy, she ended up meeting a friend last night who was going through a hard time at the moment. And Lucy's gut instinct was to stay at home. But what she actually did was she went out to meet her friend and spent 2 hours listening to her. And this friend didn't ask her anything about her for the whole 2 hours. She came home feeling utterly drained and used, was her description. And she said, why didn't I trust my gut feeling to stay at home? So this is such a great question because I think it speaks to a universal experience for women, especially those of us that are wired for empathy and people pleasing and fawning, and who have been taught to override our own needs and praised for being the good girl and the good listener, while it slowly leaks our feminine life force, because we're unable to say no and we're unable to put our needs first. So because we aren't listening to our own internal no and knowing and feminine gnosis, we start to feel angry and resentful, and it's sort of quiet and seething and under the surface. And it's a very common theme that I see in women, and it comes up over and over again in different flavors within my circle community and on my retreats. So thank you for the question, Lucy. Why do some friends drain us? Others do not. So many women have been, as I said, trained, conditioned, programmed to be the good girl. How many of you can resonate with being the good girl, to stay quiet, to do as you're told, to not shout in case you're too much, too loud, too emotional? There's a high percentage of women, because of our estrogen, because we're dominant in estrogen, that is the sort of bonding hormone, and oxytocin, which is also the bonding hormone. So we are naturally good listeners and carers and nurturers. The problem with that is that often when we've been brought up in an environment where, like, you have been trained to be like that, to get love and to get validation and to be accepted, you end up being what I call like a fawner, although you will have heard of fawning, but some of us are more akin to fawning in relationships, all relationships, which means we don't speak our truth. We don't ask for our needs to be met. We overgive, we overperform, and we overfunction. And so often when we have an experience like that, we choose unconsciously, we can choose friendships where that reality is mirrored back to us. So we are the one that people call, and then we are the one that listens and makes time for and holds space for. But that's not returned. It's not a reciprocal relationship, however that looks, whether that be with female friends or lovers. And so we perpetuate this story that I don't get my needs met, but we are perpetuating that reality. We're birthing that into reality. We birth what we believe. So if we believe that we need to give to get love, there's a sort of transaction there. We're not honoring our needs. We're not listening to that gut. Lucy said, my gut said stay at home, but I didn't listen because I didn't want to let her down. So we can end up feeling like our soul's been vacuumed, like the Death Eater from Harry Potter, that we've had the literal life sucked out of us because we're not able to say in that experience, dear friend, are you aware that you are speaking at me? And I would really appreciate some time to tell you about what's going on for me as well. We're not able to do that because we've learned that in order to receive love and validation, we have to be the good girl. We have to be the one that listens. And so because of that, and I mentioned expectations before, because that's what we're like, we expect other people to be the same. And nobody's, we're all different. And when we don't get our needs met, we make it about them and not seeing that actually it's about us meeting our own needs, listening to our own body's wisdom, and seeing it as a gift because we get to learn. And it's really important because if you're going to sit there for 2 hours being the therapist, being the counselor, being the one who provides that space for her, it's draining not because this friend of yours is going through a breakup, Lucy. It's draining because there's no reciprocity. There isn't a two-way energetic flow. There's just you listening and her taking your energy. And so we've made an unconscious choice to negate and abandon ourselves by not listening to our own intuition about going to see said friend. And then we're in our story. So we're not even really listening because we're listening to our story about she's going on and she hasn't asked me about me. And there's this sort of energetic looping from both parties of you give, and she's taking of your energy. So there isn't this sort of synchronicity of flow between two women. And your gut, you said I knew it and I didn't pay attention to it. The body always knows. We have a nervous system. Now, some of you will have heard people talking about the nervous system. Each one of us has a nervous system, and each one of us has a nervous system that was created in utero, that was created in your mother's tummy, which will have been regulated alongside your mum when you were in utero. And so there's a sort of start there of a learned unconscious response to certain things. So then we get born. And then we're in a sort of familial unit, and our nervous systems as children, as babies, as children, particularly in our formative years, will regulate against the adults in our field. And if you're the eldest, it will regulate just with the adults. And if you've got elder siblings, you will be regulating against your siblings and your guardians, whatever form that looks like for you. So if you can understand that in a nervous system, the first layer, if you like, protective layer is safety and connection. And if you don't get true safety and connection in your felt sense as a little female system, you will morph into people pleasing and fawning. It's the first layer. So many young girls, and it's praised, right? You're a good girl. Thank you for helping mummy. Thank you for helping mummy with. Thank you for helping daddy with. My own experience of this was that I would listen to my father. I was his confidant, let's say, from a very young age. So it's no surprise to me that when he was in his accident when I was 21, that I became the person that took care of him for the rest of his life. Like, it makes sense from a nervous system perspective that my protective mechanism was to be the one that people went to be heard, because my needs weren't being met. And there's lots of pieces to this, but just for you to hear, why do some friends drain me and other people don't, is because on some energetic frequency there's a familiar match for you with the people who drain you that you keep going back to, because there's something you need to learn here. There's something that you need to see that's more deeply true about you as a female, as a feminine essence being, that is a key for your evolving your consciousness. If you can see, like, what's the difference between the friends that drain you and the friends that don't drain you? There'll be a frequency that you're drawn into, and almost like we go into a freeze response with the friends or relationships that drain us. We're unable to speak. It's like we kind of go mute, and we do that because it's familiar and it's unconscious. The nervous system is operating from unconscious programming, and story follows state. So if your nervous system is responding from your primary years, your formative years, it's been conditioned and programmed to respond to a perceived threat, because we're looking for love, we're looking for safety, we're looking for warmth, we're looking for food. If we haven't got those needs met when we're little, we morph and try and get those needs met in different ways. And that can look like a myriad of things. But for the purpose of this question of the week, I'm talking to why do some friends drain you and others don't. On some level, you're mirroring, you're going back into an old pattern, and then you're in the present day reality, which is where the story lives. But your nervous system is responding to an old pattern. So this is just about gentle refinement for you, listening to your body, because the body always knows. And most women haven't been trained to go down and in to listen to the body, but to go up here and listen to the stories in the mind. Like, you'll have heard at some point in your life, I'm sure, go away and think about that. But that's a very topside masculinized way of being. Men are very logical. Women are feeling beings. And we are more emotionally related to things. And we have a nervous system that's been programmed since utero. So if you can understand, like, oh, my body's talking to me, I had a gut response not to go, I didn't listen, I actively didn't listen, and now I'm like in this situation that doesn't feel good to me, we can often go into ego rather than like, let me trace that back and see what had me abandon my knowing in favor of someone else. What had me put someone else's needs before my own intuitive knowing? Because it's not selfish to do that. It's not selfish to take care of yourself and say, no, it's not convenient for me at this time. Because when we say yes to someone else and it's a no in our system, we're saying no to ourselves and abandoning ourselves. And the body will always tell you if you are attuned and you start to listen to how your body speaks to you. She's very, very wise. We feel energized around friends who honor our needs, right? Who honor our time, who honor our truth, and honor our aliveness and our voice. And we feel drained by those relationships with people who unconsciously expect us to hold them completely without any reciprocity within that particular frame. So here's the lesson, or here's the key, really. It's, if you leave a conversation feeling depleted, feeling drained, have a sort of think about was there a no in my body? Did I listen to it? Yes or no? Was there mutual presence? Did you feel like you mattered in that experience, within that conversation? Or were you stuck in freeze, as I mentioned, in the good girl trance of being useful, helpful, and selfless? And there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. There's nothing wrong with being there for someone. But if your inner yes is a no, and you say yes anyway, you've abandoned yourself before your friend ever did. So always, always, always go with your gut. Go with your intuition. Trust that outside of people pleasing, overperforming, overfunctioning, transaction. Like, if I listen to her, she may like me. If I give of myself and my energy, which is your most important currency, don't forget your energy. Can you hold yourself with high regard? Do you treat yourself as if you like yourself? And if the answer is no, have a think about what that might look like if you did. Because where in your life are you leaking your energy in the name of being nice? And what would shift for you if you trusted your gut, your intuition, over your guilt, over your people pleasing, over your need to take care of others over yourself? This is such deep work for women, and it's so important that you learn to understand if you're feeling resentful, it's because you haven't listened to your knowing, your no or your yes. And it takes great courage to start practicing that in any moment, but it's incredibly worth it. I can vouch for that. So I really hope this has worked. Let me know what you think in the comments section. And if you have a question for me that you'd like me to speak to, please send it to me, because I want to start doing these again once a week. I'm not sure what day that'll be, but I would like to start doing these again. And I am sending you a lot of love. And if you haven't seen that, I've been giving away a free guide around feminine inflammation, and how these situations, this very situation that I'm talking about, where you're overgiving to a friend who is, and you feel drained, this will cause stress in your female system. I'm giving away a free guide. You can just type in the comments if you want it, type fire or type me, or send me a private message and I will send you this free guide, which is very beautiful, and it's my gift to you, because it's all connected. It's all deeply connected. So sending you a lot of love today, and send me a question if you have one, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Lots and lots of love.